Good morning and welcome to BOTB HQ in Parsons Green, South West London. My name is Christian Williams, the presenter here at BOTB. And we're here this morning to judge the latest dream car competition, which ran from the 5th of March to the 11th of April 2021. And just before I hand over to the lawyer this morning, once again, huge congratulations to last week's winner of the dream car competition, Julian Beadle, who won not only a brand new Porsche Macan GTS, but also, as we ran a special that week, £100,000. I'd now like to pass over to Charlotte Houston from Onside Law, who will oversee the proceedings this morning.
My name's Charlotte Houston from Onside Law, and I'll be overseeing the judging this morning. Firstly, I can confirm that the competition data has already been sent to the auditing company ASETS. I would now like today's judges to introduce themselves and, using the secure link provided, mark on the screen where they think the centre of the ball should be. The group will then come to a final panel decision.
Good morning. My name is Matt Cannon. I'm a senior county referee and footballer.
I'm Nigel Hicks. I've been a Supply League match official for the best part of 30 years, and I'm an experienced football administrator.
Hi, my name's Renee Hector and I play football for Watford FC Women, and I'm a coach for Tottenham Hotspur Foundation.
My name's Liam Walsh. I'm currently an FA observer and head coach for the Middlesex Referees Academy. I'm also a retired referee.
Good morning, my name is Alain Goma. I'm an ex-professional footballer, having played for Paris Saint-Germain, Newcastle and Fulham.
Good morning, my name is Roger Wheeler. I'm a referee and I've been refereeing and lining for more than 30 years.
Hi, my name is Aaron Mendonca. I've been involved in football for over 30 years, first as a player and then as a referee.
Good morning, my name's Andy Braithwaite and I'm a football referee, mentor and licensed observer.
Good morning, my name's Hugh Gilroy. I'm a referee, a mentor, tutor and observer.
Good morning, my name is Leo Donnellan. I'm an ex-professional football player, having been with Chelsea, Fulham and Leyton Orient.
Judges, please now come to a final panel decision. For your reference, the larger white cross is the calculated average of the 10 individual selections.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So we've got three players in shot, one in the background. You can't really see anything. He's very blurry. So the two players we're looking at, we have the player in red and white, who you've got a view of one eye. He looks like he's looking sort of straight up. And the player in yellow got two good eyes and he's looking across. There seem to be sort of the player in yellow to me looks like he's a bit more in charge of of what's happening, with the player in red obviously looking straight above him. And I think maybe the ball's come over the top of his head, and with his player in yellow about to play it. But I'll draw some lines in up from this player here. You see, you've got one eye, a little bit of white. And I've gone a little bit more vertically than the rest of you. We'll take this one, and we have Liam's lower one here. And then if I take it across from this yellow player, we've got a much tighter line really through everybody's selections. It's a very narrow line here. So Anna, I'm going to come to you first. I've magnified yours. You're just very close to the white cross here. How did you see this, and what you thought was happening in the photo?
Yeah, no, I think the ball is dropping towards the player in with a white and red shirt. I think he's going to head the ball. The player on the right hand side is obviously late on the challenge, and I think he's trying to disturb him, and so he can't really adjust his header. I think he's looking across slightly up diagonally, and but I think the ball is coming straight towards this player with the red and white shirt. So basically, I looked at his, we've got only one eye from him. I thought he was looking up slightly, very slightly in front of him. That's why, I went, to this position, basically.
Yeah, thanks very much. Nigel, I'll come to you next. You're just to the right of me here. I've magnified your selection there, and ever so slightly higher than everybody else's, but very marginally. How have you seen this photo and what's happening?
Thanks, Matt. Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Yeah, as you say, slightly higher than the rest, but that's simply because I think we're all on the same, pretty much on the same eye line for the yellow player. That's why it's such a narrow band. And it's just because of the cross reference between that and the fact I feel that the player in red is looking almost vertically, and that's why he's got his head tipped back so far. And it's just where the convergence of those two sight lines has put me there. Yeah, I mean, I feel that the ball has been said already, is dropping towards this player in red. The yellow's coming in to try and sort of move him aside or interfere with that, and the ball's very close.
Yeah, thank you very much. And now, Andy, I've highlighting yours. You're just to the right of Nigel's and myself. How did you see this challenge?
Thanks, Matt. Pretty much the same as what you two guys have said there. Although on my particular choice, I've taken into account his left eye, the guy in red and white that we can't see, because it's going to be obviously between the two of his eyes there. So I've brought it slightly to the right of where you two guys are, simply because of a more central sort of feel between the two eyes, a more central line. But again, as I said, regarding the guy in yellow, we all feel that he's glancing towards the right towards the ball. But I just feel that the centre of the ball is just slightly to the right of centre.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And Hugh, I'll come to yours just because you're just below Andy's on the same line, highlighting yours there. Have you seen this any differently, or think you should add anything to this?
Not too dissimilar. Just that I think for this one in particular, having drawn the lines, kind of adjusted, bearing in mind the size of the ball. So where the lines might have been, it's they're going to be looking at some part of the ball, and I just felt, we've said before, it's hard for them to look straight up through their own brow, so I didn't come much further left. But yeah, I wasn't sure whether he was going to jump and play it or turn out and kind of let it drop in front of him, because it looks like it's coming over his shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, because that's partly why I went straight above him, because of his eye line and not being able to look through the brow. So thank you for pointing that out. Leo, I'll come to you next. You're ever so slightly to the right of Hughes. Again, I'll magnify your choice because it's quite a tight cluster. How did you see the challenge?
Yeah, hi, Matt. Yeah, very similar to most of the other judges. I think the player in red and white is going to head the ball. That's what I thought. I think the ball's just dropping down. I thought he was going to head it. If you look at his eye line, I think he's looking straight above himself and just slightly forward. I went slightly forward because I always say this: he's going to use his forehead to head the ball. I think he's slightly still adjusting his position as well. And obviously the player in yellow, even though he's close, I personally don't feel he's going to make any difference to the guy heading the ball.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. So Rennie, I'll come to you. You're just ever so slightly to the right of this big white cross, highlighting yours there. How did you see that? Any other things to add, do you think, or anything you've seen?
Yeah, so similarly to what Hugh said, obviously I don't believe they can look sort of directly through the top of their head, so I've just gone a little bit forward for that reason. And just on the play, I think it's quite likely that this play, they're probably contesting for a second ball, just because of how high he's looking up. It's unlikely that it's sort of been directly played and it's a clearance, or unless they've hooked it right into the air. So yeah, I think it's likely they're contesting for the second ball, and that the player in red and white is probably favourable to head the ball.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. That's an interesting line of thought. Roger, I'll come to you next, highlighting yours. You're just to the right here, next to Aries. How did you see this?
Well, much the same, Matt. I was more interested in this looking directly up scenario. I mean, the ball is clearly above the head of the player in red, but it's the thing about, it's actually a physical impossibility to look through your eyebrow. And therefore, I've gone a little to the right, because I mean, the ball could be directly above him, but if he's looking at it, it's got to be a little bit to the right. And that's my probably only take on the difference.
Yeah, on that point, I will say that the player in yellow is turned a bit, so that both of them are sort of turned into each other slightly. And as I think it's been pointed out before, this player's head's quite a long way back. But I take your point. And Harry, you're just next to Rogers here. I'll highlight yours. How did you see this?
Well, I felt that this is like one of those classics disputes where the players know where the ball is going to drop, and they try to get the best position to play the ball before the ball gets there. And I felt that still the player in yellow tries to manage to imbalance slightly the player in red and white, but the player in white, I think he's still in control. Is looking up. The only difference that I put in, I agree with what Andy said in regards to the other eye that we don't see. I drew a line from there as well. That's why my cross came slightly more to the right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And lastly, Liam, I've highlighted yours. Yours is a little bit out to the right of others' choices. If I highlight it on as the ball, how did you see this?
Yeah, much the same regarding the guy in yellow, Matt. Nothing to add on that. Regarding the guy in red and white, I am going to invoke rule of brow. It's a new saying I've got that a couple of the guys have referred to in the, and I think it was actually Roger and Rene said this, that, you know, we've had this discussion before, and having the ball too vertical, we're trying to find the center of the ball, and having it sort of behind him, it doesn't sit well with me. I just felt agreement with a couple of comments being made that the two guys are tussling for the ball, and the ball sort of it's just in front of him. I get that his head's back, and for me, where I've got it, he can see the whole of the ball to compete for it, and that's what we're about.
Okay, thank you. I mean, I will say that the ball to my eye on this is obviously it's directly above him, but the ball is going to be slightly in front of him as well. So the sort of the rule of two, we're looking at a two-dimensional photograph.
Mm-hmm.
What we must also be absolutely clear on when we judge this competition is the players of the competition are looking at the eyes, and they're not sort of, they will not guess that the second eye is pointing up in another direction. So we've got to be careful of where our selections are based on that. We can't be seen to be too clever with what we're seeing as in the photograph. We cannot see this other guy's eye, and we're sort of guessing what it's doing in a way.
But Matt, we know that the eye is there. So if we follow in parallel one eye that we know that he's looking that direction, you can clearly gaze where the other one would be as well. So I think it's a fair point.
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying.
Exactly.
But we are guessing because we can't see it, and that from the players of the competition is important. It's not how we are perceiving this; it's what we're looking at. So it's quite critical to this, because obviously, where the average is shown now is an awful lot of pixels away from where it could be. So that's all I would say. So I am going to, because I would call Liam's an outlier, although I totally understand from where he's coming from. This position here encompasses us all, and I think is a better position based on specifically this guy's right eye looking up, and obviously we are all in agreement from this yellow player looking across. So unless everyone has further objections as a group, I'd like to go forward with this position here. As I said, I'll put the magnifier over the calculated average here, where it shows the ball encompasses all us as a good cluster. So Nigel, are you happy to proceed with this chosen coordinate?
I am, although I do feel Liam's would probably be close enough in a cluster. I mean, we've included ones further out than Liam in recent past, but I'm happy with that as a cluster. Personally, I would include Liam's, but I accept as head judge, your prerogative. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Renee?
I would probably keep Liam's in, I think.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Liam?
Can you show me? Sorry to be a pain,
Yeah,
Matt.
no, don't be a pain,
But
no.
it is my right. Can you please put me back in for a second? And then put the thing on the average so I can see. Do I hit in? So I'm a little tail gunner to the right.
Yeah.
And that's with me in. See, now I'm going to say keep me in because I feel that the ball's more to the right and not to the left.
Yeah.
I'm going to vote to remain, but that's my justification.
No, sure, fair enough. But I will point out that there is marginally for if I also take René's. Although I think if I drew a line up through this player's eye, there's one eye here through this average here. The majority of us on the left side, and although it's within or close to a cluster, it does pull the coordinate quite a lot to the right. This here with Liam removed, there is Leo's is basically smack in the middle and it's 4 each side. And then that's another reason to do this, because although it just moves it slightly, it moves it an awful lot of pixels. Thank you, Liam. Alain?
Yeah, no, I can't see the play in red and white, looking that low. So therefore, yeah, I would go without Liam.
Thank you. Roger?
Yeah, I think I would remove Liam.
Ari?
I would keep Liam in.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Andy?
I'm afraid I'm on the fence on this one, Matt, because to be perfectly honest with you, I'm quite happy with the average, but I would probably remove 2 to the left of me, if anything. So I'm on the fence on this one.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Hugh?
I'd say without, just on the basis when we've got these tight clusters, we like to try and get it kind of encompassed by the ball. When we're further spread out, we normally have a couple outside.
Yeah.
When it's close, we try and get them in. So
Yeah, and thank you. And lastly, Leo.
I agree with you, Matt. I'd take Liam out. I just think he's too far over to the right.
Yeah, okay, that's great. Thank you. Charlotte, after a lively debate, we decided to proceed with the coordinate with Liam's removed, bring us into a nice tight cluster as shown.
Thank you, judges. If you're happy, please can you click submit?
Thank you.
Thank you, judges. The coordinates selected are 1306 and 1158. These coordinates will now be passed to the auditing company ASETS to calculate the winner of the competition, and they will then inform BOTB. That concludes the judging process. Thank you.